Sebastian Santoro. My DOC number is 556583.
Thank you, Mrs. Santoro. Mrs. Santoro, you're here for a revocation hearing as you've been accused of violating the conditions of your parole. You have a parole questionnaire in front of you.
Yes, sir.
And is that date June 1st, 2022?
Yes.
You signed?
Yes, sir.
Is all the information correct on that questionnaire?
Yes, sir.
Did you have an attorney at your preliminary hearing?
No, sir, I do not.
Did you request an attorney for today's hearing?
No, sir, I did not.
Do you want to proceed without representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mrs. Santoro, you have been accused of violating the conditions of your parole. I'm going to read the violations, and you have an option to plead guilty, guilty with a statement, not guilty, not guilty with a statement. You understand the procedure?
Yes, sir.
The parole board is conducting a revocation hearing as you've been accused of violating the conditions of your parole supervision as follows. Condition number 3, you moved from your listed address prior to gaining permission from your parole officer. On November 4th, 2021, you falsely reported your sister's address as your listed residence. On November 19th, 2021, 15 days later, you admitted to your parole officer you did not live at the address you previously provided. How do you plead?
Can I plead guilty with a statement?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you give your statement after I finish all the violations.
Okay, okay.
Condition number 4, you engage in criminal activity by committing the offense of possession of Schedule II controlled drug substance, resisting an officer, 3 counts, simple escape, based on your arrest by the Evangeline Parish Sheriff's Office on December 27, 2021. On March 21st, 2022, you pled guilty to reduced charges of resisting an officer, 3 counts, in Evangeline docket 125-830. How do you plead?
Am I pleading to the resisting an officer charge, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I want to plead guilty with a statement to the resisting an officer charges.
And condition number 10, you are $63 in arrears toward your supervision fee. How do you plead?
Guilty with a statement, sir.
Mr. Santoro, your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman. Would you please answer Mr. Freeman's question?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Mr. Santoro, you stated that you pled guilty to condition number 3 with living elsewhere besides your sister's address, and you wanted to make a statement. What statement you wanted to make?
Sir, I got released on October 30th of 2021. I was incarcerated for 7 years. Well, I was living when I went on 11/4 to see my parole officer, which was the day I went for the 48 hours to see my parole officer. Well, she wasn't in, so they scheduled me to come on 11/4, and that was the day that I seen her and did my fingerprints and everything. And I was living at my sister's residence. Me and her son's father had a little falling out, and the date of my home visit, the day that my parole officer was I called her to come do a home visit. I told her my address was gonna be my mom's address, which was the 15 days later. That's when I first initially seen my parole officer for my home visit. And well, I called her to let her know that I wasn't living at that residence anymore. And she came to my place of residence, which was my mom's house.
Okay, so she did go to your mom's house.
Yes, sir.
And after that, she had approved for you to live there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She came through. She looked, seen my room, made sure I had clothes there, made sure it was clean. It was a livable area, and she approved. She actually told me that it was all right, and she left from the house that day, and everything was good.
All right. Go on to condition number 4. Were they drugs in the car when y'all got stopped?
Yes, sir. There was drugs in the car, but the little guy that the car actually that belonged to, he played out. The drugs were not my drugs. If you was to read my arrest warrant, when they detained us and put us in 2 separate cars, the little guy admitted to having a pipe in the car. Well, the same place that they found the pipe is where they found the drugs, and he ended up going to court. That's how I didn't have to take the possession of Schedule 2 charge, because he ended up taking his charge, saying that the drugs were for him, and I guess they sentenced him on it or whatever. I don't know how it went for him, but he admitted to the drugs being his in court is why they dropped my charges.
What kind of drugs was it?
Methamphetamine, sir.
Okay. Have you used any drugs since you got out?
Oh, yes, sir, I have. Being honest, yes, I have.
So you have used drugs. Okay. How often have you used since you've been out?
I mean, I did. I guess a few times, sir. I don't want to lie to y'all. I'm not trying to come off as a lie,
Yeah, I understand. That's a good thing. We want the truth. Do you consider yourself to have a drug problem?
Yes, sir. I've had a drug problem for a long time. Mr. Freeman, if you don't mind me saying, if just so happened, and I hope that y'all find it in your heart to maybe let me go. I just did 7 years.
I understand this. During that 7 years, did you take any long-term substance abuse?
No, sir, I haven't. I really haven't taken any drug rehabilitation at all. I've always when I have a run-in with the law, it's always years of my life that I go to prison for. Like right now, I haven't spun less than 2 years, 2-year sentence in prison since I was 14 years old. And I just recently, Mr. Freeman, acquired. If you would look, I don't know, paperwork was supposed to be faxed to y'all. I have it right here in my hand. It was a petition to change my name, because when I was born, my mom, okay, and I've never been able to get a driver's license or a state ID in my life. Well,
I read all that.
Okay, when I was out there,
I understand that gives you problems.
Right, but I have it now.
Okay.
And I have jobs waiting. One of my bosses should have.
Let's stick to the facts of the case.
Okay.
So, on your way to the police station, somehow you slip your cuffs to the front of your body?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then when you got there, you took off running.
It was just like a little. They say I ran. It was like a tussle, Mr. Freeman. I was scared. I was going back to jail. I mean, I hadn't stayed out there but 58 days. I got 2 14-year-old little boys, and all I could think about is, man, I'm about to spend some more years of my life in prison. And I had everything going on for me. I had this paperwork coming in where I was about to be able to go get a job. I'm a welder. I'm a carpenter. I have jobs lined up right now, and all I could think about, Mr. Freeman, was I didn't want to go back to jail. And I knew that the drugs in the car was not mine. And the little guy didn't want to take his charge. And I mean, yeah, I put up a little a little struggle, but I mean, it was just because I was scared. I didn't want to come spend more years of my life in prison when I'm just finally getting everything on track.
Did you try to hit or kick any of the officers?
No, sir, I did not. No, sir, I did not.
You were resisting going into the jail, what you telling me?
I'm trying to talk to him, and at the same time trying to talk to him, like, you know, kind of like just pushing back a little bit because I didn't want to go into the jail, Mr. Freeman. You know, I didn't want to be arrested or you know, go to jail for years of my life once again for something that I know was not mine, you know?
Okay. That's all the questions I have, Mr. O'Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Ms. Jackson, do you have any questions?
No. Thank you.
Mr. Santoro? Would
Yes,
you
sir.
like a statement on your behalf?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
I can make a closing statement on your behalf.
Yes, sir, I can. Sir, I hope.
Mr. Santoro?
Okay.
Ms. Jackson has one question.
Yes, sir.
You said you've used since being released on parole. What was your drug of choice?
I smoke marijuana.
You know, Central, let's come, today's the day to be honest.
I mean, my drug, no, I have used, but you asked me what my drug of choice was.
What you said you've used a few times.
Yes, ma'am. I've used methamphetamines. I've drank a few beers. Drinking's not really my thing, and I smoke marijuana.
And you said you've never gone through any kind of substance abuse treatment.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I have talked to my.
Do you think you need substance abuse treatment?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
If we recommended that you be placed in a long-term substance abuse program, would you be willing to do that?
Yes, ma'am. I'm willing to do anything that I need to do to get back to my family, ma'am.
No, not to get back to your family, Mrs. Santorio, to deal with the fact that you're an addict.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, all right. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Santoro, you're ready to state now.
Sir, I am, sir and ma'am, I am, I'm sorry for coming back to jail. You know, I mean, yes, I do have a drug problem out there. I would take any treatment, you know, or anything that I can do to better myself because, you know, I do have family out there that needs me. I was just getting back, you know, I was just back close to my kids. I have two 14-year-old babies out there, you know, and I spent years of my life in jail. And I hate that one bad decision by getting in a car with somebody that I did not know might send me back to prison for another 5 years of my life. And, you know, I am sorry. And yeah, I do regret everything that happened, you know, like, I mean, I don't want to have to do no more time in prison. You know, so I really, that's all I got to say. I'm sorry for, you know, I feel bad for coming back. You know, I can't keep doing this to my family.
Thank you, Mr. Santoro. Is the panel ready to vote? Mr. Freeman.
Mr. Santoro, I think you've been very honest with us today, which I do appreciate. You answered our questions point blank. You didn't try to lie and make light of the problem. So my vote today is in lieu of revocation to send you to a substance abuse treatment program in the state. So you'll have to go over there and complete that program before you get released. It'll probably be Steve Hall is what I'm going to recommend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Ms. Jackson.
Same thing, Mrs. Santorio, your revocation that you would complete a long-term DOC substance abuse program, before release.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mrs. Santoro, you have received 2 votes. In lieu of revocation, you must complete a DOC long-term substance abuse program. When you get to the facility, they will determine whether it's going to be a 6-month or a 9-month program. When they see exactly what you need, you must complete that program. Once completing that program, you will be released. You have a good day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That concludes our business at Bayou Correctional. Our time is 10:12 a.m. Thank you, officer, for your assistance.
Yeah, he definitely was honest. We have seen many times where they're like, "No, I haven't done anything," and he was an open book, I thought, and I think the board rewarded him. I don't know what his full sentence was, so this was a revocation hearing, so I tried searching. I couldn't find any information on him. So I don't know how much time he was facing if they would have just straight up revoked him. So it's hard to really judge, like, what an awesome deal. It could be that he would have had to have gone in for another 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Just don't know. But hopefully this helps him. And man, but if you're on probation, you probably don't want to get into a stranger's car. That is scary. But I thought Mr. O'Shea might have thrown the book at him. He just sometimes does that. But this is the right move, right? You're trying to help someone, not punish them. With that, I'll let you go.